Hey, on this video, we're going to discuss the impact that the front springs have on our race cars and the height of those springs and how it affects the overall performance of our cars. Do we need shorter springs? Is this a marketing gimmick or is it better for the car? Well, before we get started, like, share, subscribe, keep building this channel, and let's comment within this video about your thoughts. So if you want to have a conversation, you can call me. But if you guys want to have a group conversation, let's do it within this video. And let's have a conversation about spring height. Okay? So currently, there's a new 8-inch spring on the market. And people keep calling, asking me about this spring. Do I need to run it? Will it be better? Blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a lot of possibility for this spring, but advance forward with caution, because just because it's new and, yes, it's changing your center of gravity height, but do you need it to? So just because it's new doesn't mean you got to get on the bandwagon. So why an 8-inch spring? For a long time, we've been bound by rules that now seem easy to overcome with a little money. Okay? In my last video, I complained about the market and how the market is changing our racing, how the market is costing us money and is costing the sport, racers, and how it's creating a much more expensive race car. That's the market. And the market has created an 8-inch spring, which for years would have not have been legal. And in some classes like IMCA will not be legal. But in USRA, guys are calling going, do I need to be on this spring? Is it a big advantage? Well, it could be an advantage and it could not be an advantage. So let's look at what a shorter spring is going to do. Okay? Right off the bat, we're going to lower our spring table 1.5 inches in most cases. We're a 9-inch spring, but majority of front springs are 9.5 inches tall. So we're going to lower our spring table, boom, 1.5 inches, which means we raised our center of gravity 1.5 inches, which is a ton. That's a big number. When we sometimes raise our engine up 1 inch, it's a big change in the car. It allows weight to transfer to the right front. So the first thing you need to ask is not whether I should go to the short spring, is do I need a short spring? Do I need my car to get on the right front any easier than it currently does? Let's start by looking at why the shorter spring. So the reason for the shorter spring is to lower your spring table, which is instantly going to raise your center of gravity by 1.5 inches. So this will allow the car to transfer more. If you're running a soft spring setup and you're touching the racetrack or hitting the racetrack and you're battling these problems, going to a shorter spring is going to make this highly worse. So if you're battling them, we did some videos, so check out those videos about soft springs so you can stop that. If your car gets on the nose, if you're getting decent travel and you're maintaining time on the nose, whether you're doing it through rebound or leverage, if you're maintaining time on the nose, going to a shorter spring would not be a good advantage. It'd be more of a disadvantage. Okay? If your car, like if you're racing something that doesn't allow a longer lower and you don't like, maybe the offsets, then, or wheel spacers, you don't really like a bunch of wheel spacers, you don't like how that feels, then maybe would definitely be a better option, going to a shorter spring. Because that shorter spring is going to allow the car to get on the right front easier. It's going to keep it there a little longer. Okay? But on the other end of the spectrum, if you're running 1 inch longer lower and a 1-inch wheel spacer, and you're on a 550, and you're kind of complaining about your car not getting up off the corner, going to a shorter spring is only going to make that situation way worse. So there is some things you need to take in consideration and think about with these shorter springs. It's not going to be for everybody. Okay, I do think there's a place for it or a purpose for it. And I do think it could be very good. You take some of the USMTS cars and they seem to be a little harder to get on the nose. So maybe this would be a good deal. So I do think the 8-inch spring has an application, but I think you need to be very careful at going down this. It's not something that you can just put in and it's going to make every car better. It's not that. Certain situations, I do think it's going to make the cars better, but it needs to be evaluated. It just don't dive in head first on short springs. So think about it. The shorter springs raising the center of gravity up, which is going to allow weight transfer easier. It may be something that you need to do, but it may be something you don't need to do. So think about it, evaluate it. If you need help, give me a call. If you guys want to do this, let's start some comments. Let's start a dialogue. There's some good people commenting stuff, and there's some good people responding to comments, okay? So we can have a dialogue. If you're struggling, call me at the shop. If you're on a shock program and you think this might help, let's talk about it. Because it's going to change the timing in the front of your car. If you're hitting the racetracks, it's probably not the direction you need to go. Plus, you got an issue you need to fix. Now, when you get that problem of hitting the racetrack fixed, you may realize that you have a problem with getting on the right front. So, there's always good and there's always bad. When you're solving a problem, you got to first understand, am I picking the right problem? Is this the correct fix for the problem? Or is this a byproduct of something else? So racing's difficult. That's why we do it. That's why we love the sport. Short springs, are they for everybody? The answer is going to be no. Could they be for you? Evaluate it from what we've learned in this video. Make that decision. And again, like I said, if you need help, call me. So go fast, go left. God bless you. And we'll see you next time.